thought there was going to be like announcements or something, but I guess this is it. So like, the announcement is we all get to see our cats again. What's up? I am Sean. You can also call me Evil Carl Phillips, if that makes it easier for you. Happy to accept that role. I'm going to read this little thing to start. I had a book come out last year. Yeah, thanks. That's this is kind of from that. It's like these little collages I've been making. I have a friend who calls them my tiny American cutouts, which is maybe too cute of a name for what I'm about to read to you. Burnout. I've never been as drawn to fire as I have been to the ash it leaves in its wake. Perhaps I was born the burnt tip of a candle wick. Burnout, my natural state. Burnout, great American boogeyman, its shadow looming. I saw it stare into me. I was told it's hard to get the students to care sometimes. Months later, my students lounged lazily off the couches that served as the desk in that classroom. Untucked sky blue shirts and navy blue slacks melted into the deep blue couch cushions that complete the monochromatic still life. I had sailed my ship of thesis onto the unfamiliar shore of a private school. I needed ideas, inspiration, guidance, control. Yesterday, as the class read aloud from To Kill a Mockingbird, 2 students fell asleep, 1 snored, another ended every line of dialogue by adding, "These nuts." Even after returning from the principal's office for that very same offense. In the teacher's lounge, Sharon marks me, "You look tired, honey. Don't let the little shits get to you." Honestly, I felt it. So many discussions lost to chaos, so many mornings, body weighed down. Yep, this is it. I'm burnt out. Still I rose, and still I cobble something together for school. I love how much I hate the word burnout, perfectly visceral. I can feel the burning muscles, the heated tension in my spine. Still, the machine grinds on, the transmission ablaze, burnt out. It seems to me the greater American condition, a country in which leaders hold progress hostage under the guise of religious liberty, when it seems that the most Christian gift this country could provide would begin with rest. Burnout, yes, but is that not the foundation for the phoenix? Revolutionaries warn of a fire that will descend upon this nation. Yes, I see it there too. Along the horizon, a great American burnout. If you work the gears too hard, the transmission will erupt. The car will have no choice but to idle. Holy American burnout, grant us the stillness of your fire this time. All right, now I'm going to crack this bad boy open. I don't have time to ramble like I normally do. So I've been trying to figure out like why I'm here, and I think it's because I have 2 summer camp, essays that deal with summer camp. So I think that's why I'm here. So I'm going to read one of the ones. This is the one from a camping field trip we did with the school itself. And all you really need to know about this excerpt is that I'm way less of a curmudgeon about the outdoors as depicted here. It's character building. And the other thing is that we were camping at a reservoir about 15 minutes from the school, so it's camping in the way that like making a frozen pizza is cooking. Know that next morning when I returned to the campsite and the principal asked me to lead the class on a walk, I gave them no guide to navigating that broken space. The cloud of gnats hovering in the trees along our path reminded me why I preferred the concrete parts of these landscapes. I just wanted to get through the morning, so I simply watched as the students took off wild before me. A little away from the campsite, I noticed a 5-year-old, the principal's youngest, who was also entreated in my care, had set out in flip-flops. His feet were stuck all over with thorns and stickers. Though I was more bothered by the sight than he even giggled as he plucked them. Once the thorns were out, I hoisted him onto my shoulders and told him to reach for the sun. Soon, my back ached. The afflicting weight giggled overhead and wiggled as he maneuvered to point out birds beyond my field of view. Meanwhile, the rest of the hiking group ventured almost out of sight. As their English teacher, was it my job to teach them the meanings of the word, "Hold on, everybody"? I told the little guy upstairs, changing the curvature of my spine to duck out of the way of branches and to stop putting leaves in my afro. As I set off into the wilderness, searching for preteens. I used to have hair. And then I taught middle school. The hot, sticky moisture and the itchy brush of tall grass reminded me why I hated the romantic poets. Eliot was right. April is the cruelest month, May a close second. The preteens emerged from the thickets of woods bearing sticks and physically bringing each other closer to nature over and over again. We were at the site of potential ruin, as I could have helped them see. Notice here, seepage into the ground, water building up and applying pressure to the dam, a few months away from the patch job that would further delay disaster. Notice here, the 90-degree day in the middle of May, leading its way into another summer of record-breaking heat. Notice here, the 5-year-old shouts, "Squirrel!" and the students all sprint after nature, their teacher trailing behind, distracted briefly from ruin as we made our way back toward the parking lot. Truthfully, we were never that far away, but enough trees can obscure anything. A car drove slowly past. I averted my attention back to the students, now retreating from the road back to the woods, and set the 5-year-old down because he spotted a ladybug. Where does the give and take of landscape and bodies begin? Where does it end? Typically, a camping trip is supposed to provide an escape from the humdrum of urban living. Campers claim rejuvenation by the fresh air and whatnot, and here we were with tents pitched just a few miles from I-35, pollution coloring the sky shades of candy corn. If we do emerge from our landscapes, then camping near the city's reservoir is like returning to the womb. Reemerging then would confuse more than rejuvenate. I understand why the principal chose this reservoir, though. Absurd facade of nature as it was, there's justification alone in making sure the students didn't grow up to be more 25-year-old city slickers who couldn't pitch a tent. And yet still, I can now. And yet still, I thought we were teaching our students to notice the wrong aspects of our environment. There, beside me at the campsite, the 5-year-old sticks his finger in the dirt, his back bent, knees tucked under his chest, and his gaze transfixed by a ladybug, cooing at it as if it were a cat. Eventually, it spirals up his finger, and he arches slightly to hold it up into the sunlight. 2 decades prior, I'd hunched atop the cracked concrete leading to my childhood home in the city proper. Bent so far down that my eyelashes could brush the dirt off pavement, I used my fingertips to scoop roly-polies out of the driveway's trenches. Behind me, my sisters would comb the concrete for bugs of their own. I'd smile whenever one of the tiny pill bugs curled onto my fingertip and hold it up for my sisters to see. "Look, Mr. Sean," the 5-year-old exclaims, yanking me back to the present as the ladybug takes flight from his finger and into the air. Okay. In the spirit of risk, I'm going to read something that I've been working on this week. And the risk is that it has my handwriting, and that's god-awful. So instead of preambling, I'm just going to see if it speaks for itself. It borrows the title from a line of a poem from Said Jones. The America I was born in will not be the America in which I die. My granddad hauled the freight of his body across our highway in America. I don't see my handwriting. It's terrible. My granddad hauled the freight of his body across every highway in America. My grandmama, passenger seat witness, stretched the length of her arms along the sill and stared out the truck window. A preview of a cell overrun with cells, cells, cells. Who wouldn't let down their life for growth unlimited? My grandmama smokes reds, countless suns burning bright at the burnt end of her fingers. Who wouldn't pray stars burn forever? Who wouldn't drive into the sunset if it really rested there, just over the horizon? Granddad kept the country chock full of folks stocked until the weight of his work outpaced the beat of his heart. I rode along just once, the taste of coffee bitter then, and though I didn't see him surrender to the truck yard, I swear I have a memory in which he topples over the high step of his rig, reaching out his heart and hand out for me to hold. What should I have learned then? My grandmama taught us how to clean pig guts in a shallow kitchen sink, and the stench alone should have made me never want to eat the insides of another being. The grime under nails, grime spilling over sink's edge, puddling blood wine at our feet. Yet I carve every day into some bleeding thing brought over on a truck that could have once borne our family name, which means, yes, I've seen every rotten inch of this nation, but no, not very much of it at all. Should I have learned, it could have been the tools of slaughter, not the carcasses on that trailer, but really, what's the difference when the damage done, and what then to call the vehicle? Our country of rotting corpse you can't kill. Oh, freight country of transit and product, highway and shelves, praise to the grit that pays rent. I grip this packaged country in my teeth, tearing at the flesh fried, hoping it might melt into something more like grace forgive me. I am once again making metaphors of the people who made me. I fear I will be the rest of my life carrying us all into the butcher's maw when all any loved ones want are bodies whole, fulfilled. What's given will never be repaid in full when they bury us. If they bury us, I pray we pop right the fuck back up like a big rig through the concrete sky. May we at least refuse to decay in death the way we have decayed in life. All right. Please welcome my fellow UNT Mean Green Eagle, Franky Gonzalez. Ka!
I hope you all can indulge me in the creation of a memory here. So just real quick. There we go. Thank you all. Hello. Thank you to the Sewanee Familia and all of its organizers for creating such a beautiful space where we can gather and share work. I want to take this time to share a monologue from my play, That Must Be the Entrance to Heaven. The monologue was actually created from a very low point in my life where a self-production I mounted failed catastrophically, and I didn't have enough money to buy formula for my 6-month-old child after the play closed. Worst night of my life, by far. If you replace all of the references to boxing with being a writer, this is roughly what I told my son in his crib and what I wrote from memory of that night. The character is a boxer named Juan, and he's talking to his newborn, and he will reveal later on in the play that he has taken out a life insurance policy on himself, and he's attempting to die in the ring to get his family out of poverty. This was written for you, Josecito. I love you, chiquitín. Hey, you awake? Ay, look at you. What you still doing up? You gotta sleep, chiquitín. That's how you get strong. You gotta be strong. Yo, why's that? Yo, because this life ain't easy. It's always there trying to fuck you up. Ah, fuck, I said curse words. My bad. Shit. Oh, okay. I'm not, good at this. Your mom thinks you and me, we don't know each other too well. She's always, she wants what's best. Look, I know that, but like, I'm not good with words, right? I mean, what do I say to you? I mean, do you even understand me? Or are these like just some like goo gaga noises to you or something? You know my name, right? And I know your name, so now what? Oh. You know what your papi does for money? I'm a boxer. That means I fight people. You wanna see? You wanna see? Look. And the new. Yo, why are you so quiet with me, man? Come on, chiquitín. Talk to me. Please. Well, I'm sorry. Now, what you want to hear? I'm sorry, okay? Perdóname. Your mom's right. I don't know you. And you don't know me. And I'm asking you to talk to me, but you shouldn't talk to no strangers, even if that stranger's your dad. Fuck. Look, I know you've been hearing me and mommy, we've been fighting. Not like the way where I hit her, like I do the guys in the ring. We've been fighting with our words, and yo, if you want the truth, I prefer the fights with punches than I do the fights con palabras. Your mom always wins those. You're gonna have to get used to that if you ever get a wife. But yo, I don't like word fights, you know? I don't like them because words hurt worse than any punch, mijo. Especially when those words are truth. And when your mommy is spitting truth, I start trying to say things that aren't truth. And I try to hurt her with my words. And then we both end up hurt. And then when I met your mom, right? Oh my God. Beautiful, intelligent. She was special. And your papi was the luckiest man. But you see, your papi, he ain't a good man. It's true. I won your mommy's heart under what they call false pretenses. That's a fancy word for I lied to her. No, look, man, I didn't mean to. Don't get it twisted. But, like, someone as special, someone as beautiful, someone that's the whole world like your mommy is, but she deserves a man who can give her, what she deserves, right? So that's what I told her. I told her I was going to get us out of this shit. I told her I was going to bring her belts. I told her I was going to bring cash and houses and I wanted to keep that promise. I swear to God, strike me down, kill me now. I wanted to give her all that, but like, I kept losing and losing and losing and losing and losing and losing and losing until my promises turned into lies. But your mommy, she kept encouraging me, right? She'd say, I win next time. She kept believing the promises that I knew I'd never deliver. She had to believe. She had to have faith that she made the right choice in picking me to be her husband. And then you were born. And then her encouraging turned into questions about the bills, about whether I needed to maybe rethink what I was doing. It turned into complaining about the roaches and the rent and the hours that she was working overtime, until questions turned into word fights. Hey, yo, please understand me, man. I ain't saying this is on you. Weak men who can't face the truth, those are the ones who blame little babies for their failures. And I ain't weak like that to put the fact that I can't accomplish shit on my little boy. No. But what they're gonna tell you, where if you work hard and if you give it your all that you'll live your dreams, Papi, that shit's not true. That shit's for television and for people who take advantage of your hopes with the lie that you'll make it if you keep working hard. But yo, what's life without dreams, hijo? What's the point if you don't try to beat the odds and get good in the world? Why can't I hope for a better tomorrow? Because I tried, papito. I tried to make those words true. I wanted to be world champ since I was 5. And yo, maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should quit and get a real job and stop pretending I'll ever win a belt. But I can't let it go, man. I can't leave behind the dream that's kept me going all these years. I don't know how to do anything else. And yo, if I'm being real, if I'm being honest with you, I love it. I fucking love this shit too much to let it go. Man, I had always hoped that I would be much more than some spick who ruined a woman's life with his stupid, impossible hope. Unfortunately, I ain't shit. I never been shit. And maybe some people got no right to dream. And I can accept that for myself. I did my best, and my best will never be good enough. But that's not what your mommy, that's not what you signed up for. And I know that mom's been breaking her back, keeping this shit together, and I ain't kept up my end. I promised her world titles and living good. I promised us that I'd get us the fuck out of here. I promised you both the sunrise, and I've been breaking those promises. But I'm gonna fix that. In and out of the ring. The hardest fucking punches can't knock out your old man. I only been knocked out twice, Chico. When I laid my eyes on your mom, and when I held you for the first time. That kind of shit deserves a reward, right? After all, you both did what no other man could. So that's it. That's your father. A loser who ain't worth shit. But I got a plan, little man. You may never have a dad who will be called a champion, but I'm getting you and your mommy what you both deserve. You're both gonna get the dawn. I'm gonna deliver on that no matter what it takes. You wanna know how? I'm gonna tell you a secret for your ears only. Thank you. And next up is, I don't know the first name, but Kamara.
everybody. Can you all hear me? Yeah, good? Okay. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can't see you. Thank you, Sewanee. It's so beautiful to get to be here. Everybody is so, I don't know, loving and amazing. And especially thank you to all the playwrights and actors to whom I saw early in the conference saying, oh, I'm not going to do my reading. I just won't go up. I won't go up on stage. I'll just get an actor. So thank you for being patient. And here I am overcoming my fear. So I'm going to read a little bit from my novel. It's called Bright and Tender Dark. It is about the long, rippling aftermath of a murder. There is a beautiful, charismatic, bright 19-year-old college student in Chapel Hill who is found murdered in the early days of the year 2000. And this book is kind of an exploration into all the lives and people that murder and that absence touched, and the way that her death becomes this kind of void into which all different people are telling their own stories. Contrary to popular belief on the internet, I would say it's not a thriller. Don't go into it with that expectation. I've gotten tired of reading from the beginning, so lucky you. I'm gonna read from part with where we sort of enter into the perspective of a college professor, Jacob Hendricks. He's a little bit of a womanizer, a little bit of a scoundrel. And he's recently gotten some medical news that is impacting him. So I think that's all you really need to know. There are worse things than falling in love with a girl. Jacob Hendricks appreciates this, even if others, his wife for one, do not. His wife, Lila, indulgent though she is, takes these frequent crushes a little personally. Jacob knows, although she has never said a thing. Her imperviousness is part of her charm, and for her to admit annoyance would be to relinquish some part of her power. She's sleeping now, his wife. He is the early bird in their household. He'll prepare her toast the way she likes, along with a cup of chai, because he always does. This is how they live, under the tyranny of ritual niceties. Jacob considers this as he pours half and half into his coffee, a lovely white bloom, softening and mingling beneath the surface. He likes to watch the way the colors blend. The changing hue always makes him think of skin tones, the great variety. But he knows better than to make such comparisons aloud, having once, as a younger man, written a poem in which he likened a girl's complexion, favorably, of course, to cafe au lait, and was told by his professor, a woman herself, it should be noted, that he ought not describe women's appearances in terms of caffeinated beverages or any consumables, really, especially if he hasn't deigned to depict these women as also having personalities. She was a real snot, this professor, the very reason he dropped his English major, if he's being honest. And despite the appealing rigor of her pencil skirts, those hose she wore with the precise little seams running up the back of her calves, her sleek and perfect bob that practically demanded ruffling, Jacob never fell in love with her, not one iota. Her skin, he'd noticed that day, had been like potter's clay, clammy and unappealing, and her intelligence a bitter thing, taste-ruining, like the loose grounds at the bottom of a cup of coffee. The toast pops up. Its shade is off, so he presses the lever again. Toast should be the color of wet sand, like the color of the inner arm of a girl he taught last semester, the one with the large chestnut eyes. "What do you compare me to?" Lila once asked him, and he'd been stunned. A lifetime of delectable similes, rhapsodizing over such great buffets of flesh and longing, and truly, with regard to her, his own wife, the thought of her as something else had never occurred to him. "Incomparable," he'd said to Lila, who was pinched and sallow, though striking in her way. "That's you, incomparable." And she'd laughed, pleased, although Jacob knew that to him it was not entirely a compliment. There is the muted howl of dogs outside. His hand shakes as he lifts the mug. The coffee trembles forebodingly. He is a god, creator of earthquakes. With his left hand, he clasps his right wrist, trying to quell the tremor, but the quaking does not stop. He puts the coffee down, then tries again, lifting it with his left hand instead. He takes a sip. Through the kitchen window, he can see his neighbor Diana outside, wearing specialized workout gear that does not suit her. She appears to be stretching, preparing for some vigorous exertion. The dogs howl again, obligingly. Diana is responsible for these dogs. Rescue animals, anxious and snapping, dogs no one else will touch, but that Diana loves with abandon. He hates dogs. A childhood neighbor of his had raised German shepherds on her property, and she raised them mean. Diana's exercise clothing looks new and preposterous. It is cold out, mid-November, and her breath comes out in white puffs. He has never seen her out there like this. Ordinarily, she rushes back and forth from her Volvo station wagon in saggy slacks and button-downs and loafers. Jacob is aware that Diana's husband has recently left her, and he pities her out there, red-faced in the cold. The defiant jut of her chin, her bleak determination, it's a little appalling, really. Shall he get the paper now and be forced to wave to her, speak? He and his wife have been passingly friendly with Diana and her husband, Doug. A younger couple, stuffy and ungraceful, with a whiff of 1980s era striving to them, even though it's 1999, practically the new millennium. When he'd first heard they were moving in, a couple in their mid-30s without children, the wife a new hotshot hire at the law school, poached from a Big Ten university, he'd allowed himself to imagine something different. A woman who was polished and gazeable, a man of understated intelligence, with whom perhaps he might share a nip of bourbon on weekends. But Doug had been unbearable. Honking laugh, a tendency to deliver nasal disquisitions on tax code, backslapping bonhomie with an edge to it. And private equity, what is it really? A place former Northeastern lacrosse goons end up, Jacob supposes? I still don't know what private equity is, side note. Poor Diana. Maybe she is better off without Doug. She has her esteemed faculty position, her hard luck dogs. He opens the door and steps out in his robe, 1 foot, 2 feet, careful over the threshold. The cold air startles him, burning his throat. He's learned of late to grasp at handholds to steady himself. If he moves slowly enough, he is fine. The trick is avoiding overconfidence, something the doctor accused him of when he'd refused his recommendation of physical therapy recently. It will help, the doctor had promised, his eyes beseeching, at least until we see how you respond to the treatment. The setup of the clinic had been such that he'd been able to see the physical therapists and their patients in a kind of open gymnasium across the hall. Cheerful young women assisted doddering old men and shrunken old ladies, calling brightly to one another across the room. Not one of them moved quickly or fluidly, those enfeebled gym-goers. It had made Jacob want to die. He's only 56. Jacob Hendricks. He is halfway down in a kind of crouch, the newspaper at his fingertips. Diana, her voice more cheerful than it ought to be, unsteadies him. He pauses, gripping the doorframe. A wave of dizziness passes over him. There's that numbness in his foot. One of the dogs in Diana's backyard issues a desolate moan. Bonne journée. I'm going to stop there. There's a dog attack coming, spoiler alert. I don't see the list, but I believe we have Maya Salameh.
Hi folks, I'm super happy to be here. I'm hoping the computer is working. But yeah, I want to open and just say I'm super grateful to be here. Thank you to Leah for curating such a beautiful conference. Thank you to the staff that actually keep all the gears turning in the background. Thank you to Nate Marshall, Marianne Chan for being wonderful poetry aunties to our workshop class. So I'm going to be reading out of my book, How to Make an Algorithm in the Microwave, which you can buy at the bookstore, and I might sign if you ask me nicely. And a little bit of new shit as well. I've also got some things up here because I'm a form guy, and I want you guys to enjoy how these things look. So this first piece is called Algorithm with Blue Eyeliner, and it's formulated with gratitude to the characterization of Venus, which is taken out of a 13th century Arab grimoire that I stole from my university library. And the characterization, I'll just read a little bit of it, but Venus desires to sleep with women, to strengthen love with them, and she longs for faithfulness from them. She governs the desire to appear beautiful, to love freedom. She abhors quarrels, vengeance, and lawsuits. She welcomes false oaths and is inclined towards desire. She desires to drink excessively. She incessantly desires abundant sex in filthy ways and inappropriate places. She governs fairness in things, being loved by women, being loved by men, being a host, making stable things, operating from stones, having a sweet skill, and looking down on the world with no fear of it. So this is Algorithm with Blue Eyeliner. 1. Venus has a mouth too big for her god. Once my mother. 3. Named sparrows her favorite strain of red. 5. The abacus in the laptop calls itself gin. 6. If I overuse commas, else add roots to dots. 8. I count my veins, my nicked algorithm in the mirror. 9. Venus feeds me an acronym in a crowded restaurant. 10. 11. It's April. An archive is overall a lived process, a body, a moon. 12. If Venus was always going into strangers' cars. Else, heal. 14. An algorithm is a sacred object. It summarizes. 16, i.e. Venus only wears magenta barrettes. 17, i.e. Venus steals moves from the CVS on mission. 19, my mother speaks slow and rivered like ministering. 20, I peel mangoes. 21, I algorithm my throat. 23, Venus, an archive overall. A 24, relic in Wranglers looking for the door. 26, how do you make an anaphora? 27, girl, grammar, blood. So as y'all can tell, I really like grammar. So this next piece is called God and Language, Make Grammar in a Backseat. With gratitude to Nadia Sewanee. J'appartiens à un pays qui chaque jour se suicide, tandis qu'on l'assassine. En fait, j'appartiens à un pays plusieurs fois mort. Pourquoi ne mourrais-je pas moi aussi de cette mort rongeante et laide, lente et vicieuse, de cette mort libanaise? The $7 sunflowers you bought me after arguing over the grocery cart, my name the last piece of silver on my neck. We debate new cities, Montreal, Ann Arbor, Los Angeles, Berlin. We measure our shiny blue passports against our marked bodies. I dissect my Spanish, English, the night-skinned French, our tongues a constellation on the duvet. My country's fables say I am devoted. It's July and the tile stinks of Lysol. July installed at the airport and my country's fables say I am not in danger. July and my college major band in Florida. I pluck extensively at my ankles, spread my legs and inspect for practice. It's still July and we stop for strawberry ice cream and our blood partitioned in the trees and I hear this music in my food. This is noon. Noon and you were the noun that slicked my pages with sweat. You started the elliptical like the stretch of the letter noon, noun, tributary. I marry my thumb to your mouth. You crush caffeine pills, pin me with purple irises, your blue-tinted body. What a relief to be a terrified woman. I write the noon 40 times. The sun scribes me onto stone tablets. Noon, and you were the noun that slicked my pages with sweat. This is songs the algorithm knows about me with anti-gratitude for the surveillance state. Berkeley data, collected 5/6/20. The USPS is being discontinued. My sister packs her bedroom into suitcases while Baba drills permutation number 7 of the litany on marriage. We say nothing. Mom laughs into her earbuds. I press my eyes like postage against boys standing by detergents. Language is a colleague of desire. I trim my best friend's hair. Baba spends his nights watching the fireworks happen to cities with sister names. My father, whose daughters do not have enough blood. My mother raised me and my sister to the scout. Triangulation, iOS 13.4. Form. 3 women shuffle to the old country. I demonstrate my lives, dib, hudson.edu/daughters are the best surgeons/actors. Mom watches herself shake in a mirror. There is no demographer without this form, body. She'll warn me not to speak so badly of the president in our home, so we'll say nothing. Observe each other being watched, body. Check the stove 5 times, compulsive as a homily. HTML, I'll pick keyboard out of my stomach. I'll run a regression. I'll look for stars. Chrome browsing 418. If he was murdered, how did he walk back into the house? What color was the sky? Strawberry candies with the yellow wrapping. How to convert an image to JPEG. Define phylum. What color was the sky 1973? How to code an interim. 99 ranch location. How to dissolve burgundy acrylic. How to forget somebody. Topics for a homily. Examples.yourdictionary.com/examples of homily HTML. Forgiveness, global warming, Easter, marriage rights, war, preparing for the kingdom, family, Lent, drugs, Christmas, legislation. Lifted from 2017 MacBook. Freud asked, might we not say that every child at play behaves like a creative writer, and that he creates a world of his own, or rather rearranges the things of his world in a new way which pleases him? A street sculptor in Reading said I had carpenter's eyes, callous anointed hands. I comb asphalt from our bed. My mother, sprite for headaches. The new dictator drones my country before the disease check deposits skin, citizen, scalp. My loving is like that, raising and oftentimes cheap. Cordially. Dream data, Richter 3.7. My hair is long, I eat without anxiety, and I give each Aleppo her bread. I walk slow, and I give each Aleppo her bread, and I give each Aleppo her bread, and I give each Aleppo her bread. Customer review, ocean. Nothing feels ritual anymore besides my mother mutilating onions. Worship service, Long Beach, 321. I want a trolley car full of Feiruz and women, no one instructing. A train station where no one is taken from someone he loves. I want my girlfriend's countries back. I want to fit in every denim I try on, build a house with mahogany, fill a shower with marigolds, watch mom pack me a homily in a Tupperware, and tell me not to talk to boys. This is Istikana. I often dreamed of Ecclesiastes, of untimid Corinthians who'd array me in their backseat and teach me the dictionary of a mouth. Leviticus like fistfuls of February, purple horizon, hair in my mouth. Freedom is hard work. The apples you eat to the core of. This is Punnett Square with Amy Winehouse, with eternal gratitude for Amy Winehouse. Like dime store gold, I pile on a couch for the holiday and shine like rust. I'm 6, the television is blaring, her hair a beehive, crosses piled on her neck, She scats her indigo stomach, Marlboros, staccato body, battered jeans. Algorithm. Amy makes a pattern with her throat. The screen stutters. Music is a technology. I serenade the headline from my marrow. Her voice iridescent, my Arabic like me, bent and arching, us on the kitchen floor reciting my stomach. Amy opens her mouth with a country in it, croons my ribs open, fhimt. My dress blossoms loudly, and it is Boston, bent her testament, my tattered breast, fhimt. Words are a business. We bleed glottal for the audience. We confess elegant without confessing. There's the photo of her in an insincere smile. Dad liked to say we were descended from royalty. He was lying, but I walked like I believed him. The screen cracks, we pour in jasmine, rain, oranges, we peer back. I have a brittle conviction I will make a beautiful woman. All right, last poem for y'all, and this is actually the titular poem of my new book. In my dreams, I'm never beautiful. I'm mourning, I'm illuminated, I'm illustrated at length in the next chapter. The amoxicillin walls, and I'm 11 in front of our shared family desktop reading the dirtiest fan fiction you can imagine. I'm a girl again, and nothing hungry has ever happened to me. I'm mourning, I'm illuminated, I'm this fine the first take, I'm this fine with a soft beat. My gender is the way numbers kiss letters to make Arabic. In the dream, there are bags and bags of psalms to pack, and we are late for our flight. There is the long escalator requiring climbing. In the service of beauty, I replace one stud with another, then my nose gets too pink, so I get nervous and switch it back. In Boston, I clip my bangs and conduct what I call hairline surgery. It's really just tweezing hair from my jaw. Please, give me something to do with my hands. I'm mourning, I'm 17, still innocent of steering wheels. I'm mourning, I'm illuminated, I'm illustrated at length in the manual. Don't worry, I'll make my own music. Thank you.